Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's MariahFang. We're going to be doing like a two-part video, so if you want to skip ahead and go see the sewing projects, go ahead. It'll be like a couple minutes in and I'll leave the timestamp up here. Otherwise, just stick around and watch me be a silly goose. This first part is just going to be like somewhat of an intro, and I've got a package from Demon Ship that I want to show. I didn't necessarily have to show it, but I wanted to because they sent it out and I thought it was really cool. Thought it was really nice of them as well. So partially why it's opened is because I wanted to wear the hoodie. It was cold all week and I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to wear it. It is so cold. It also needs to get washed because the project I was working on had a bunch of glitter and the glitter just decided to bamboozle everywhere, so now there's glitter all over my project. Also, here is proof right there. I got this from Demon Ship, that's their logo. And I already have opened it, so there's a lot of stuff in here actually that came with, so thank you guys. I'll just like stuff it in the plastic so you guys can see that it was in there. It's a partially unopened unboxing video. Not really is it a box, it's more like an unbagging. I said bag. Bag, dang it. Alright. So, back in the package it is. It's gonna be full of glitter because I already used it, but check out this awesome hoodie by Demon Ship. No, the glitter doesn't come with it. I'm sorry, it does not. But if you live in the Midwest, you can never go wrong with a hoodie. So, this has been my favorite. There's a pocket little thing right here. I should just put it on. What am I thinking? It is so cozy. It is so nice. And it actually fits all the way down to like my skirt area, which you can't really see, but anyways, it is nice and cozy and so warm. Okay, second one. I did not open this. I was being good. I wanted to wait till I make the video, so seal of approval is now open. Okay, we have a shirt not covered in glitter, which is good, and this one is a it says Demon Ship on top, and we're all numb. So it's like a little tank top. I shouldn't say it's a shirt, it's more like a tank top. Look at that. Look at that. It is so sick. However, that's my take on this cute little summer tank top here, so if you want that, definitely go to their website. Alright, second one, we're gonna open this. It is Demon Ship as well, just their logo. And it's a nice, loose, I want to say, stretchier material. So it's not like one of those super heavy t-shirts. It's very light, so like if you're in the heat, this is nice to wear. It's a pretty nice shirt. It actually fits really well, and my armpits, like, they're not like chafing against it, which is really nice. It's very soft. It feels like sleepwear, kind of, but like it's super light. Don't mind me, I have like a dress on at the moment, but it looks pretty cute, okay? I think it looks good. It looks nice. Personally, I would not wear this as a dress because it is kind of short, but if you do get bigger size, I'm a size medium, so if you got like an extra large, you could probably make it into a dress. I have a dress here that I made, slash cloak slash skirt, kinda. I don't know what it is exactly. I just thought medieval renaissance. Let's just go with it. I'm gonna have a few disclaimers before we start the video. Please make sure you have a lint roller because this will get everywhere. And I've been lint rolling this thing for like 30-40 minutes outside yesterday and I got most of it off. But as you can tell, this is the skin of a killer Bella on my hands here, so here's the skin of a killer. I'm kidding, it's just, it gets everywhere, and that's just how glitter is. It just sticks to everything. Hey everybody, for this first part, you're gonna have to use like a cloak design, so basically just cutting out a square and only sewing up, I believe, 3 sides, so you have one that is open. So I'm just kind of working around this placement here and just kind of winged it. So I didn't do an exact proportion. I kind of did like 2 to 3 inches out to make like an oversized hood. So I just used a cloak as a reference, which I had in storage. So I just brought that out. Then took my trusty tape measure out and I was like, you know what, let's go write these measurements, put them on a piece of paper as like our quote-unquote tracing paper slash sewing pattern, so it'll just make everything easier to transfer over, so that way you're not losing the pattern and losing track of where you're at. So that's just how it helps me to organize my thoughts a little bit. So I just use paper for this, and of course I use a milk jug or water jug and to kind of get everything in place so it doesn't move anywhere. Tried to use as little fabric as I could, but I decided for this project just use a whole bunch, oversize your measurements because you never know. And then I just used a colored pencil on the inside of the fabric. You don't want to use the outside where it's glittery because you don't know where it's going to be. So this will wash off in the wash hopefully. If not, that's okay. It's just a Renfair cloak. I then sewed up the sides, as you can see, with the clips. I just kind of marked everything down. I don't like using sewing pins, so that's why the clips come to play. Also, here's an O-ring attachment, which I'll have 3 of them, one for the back, one for the 2 sides, so I can add chains, decals, and stuff like that onto it. Then I measured out the top part of the cloak-ish material slash top with the bell sleeve, so I just kind of said, you know what, for the halter, we're just going to oversize it. I didn't want to make it too small where it wouldn't fit, and I kind of wanted it to be drapey, so I just said, alright, we're going to make like swooping patterns, if that makes sense. So it's going to have like this arch that goes in, and then the part to the right side is the middle, I believe, or it was the right side, I forgot. You'll probably see it later on in this video, but I measured out the spaces to be about 2 to 3 inches in depth. So they do kind of hang a little bit lower, and the hood will be onto each point that is going to be out. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically you're creating 3 sections about 2 to 3 inches in depth, and then creating an arch so it's nice and smooth, and you just follow the pattern as is. I then proceeded to cut the design and kind of kept it close as I could to the markings that I did have. And it's okay if I went in a little bit further as I had extra fabric, so I was just going to use these scraps for something else in the future. There's Shiro! You probably missed it, but there was a kitty just hanging out. So I then proceeded to go in and created like little relief marks where the points would be meeting, so it wouldn't rip the fabric. So I just cut like a slit and then I sewed over that so it would be easier to have things flow a little easier and nicer. I think this part was like the worst because it took forever just to sew everything in place. It just was so annoying and I do not want to work with glitter again. A super important side note is to make sure you use wax paper or paper in this instance. I didn't have any wax paper, so just like a thin sheet of 8x10 printer paper works. Anything thicker than that tends to like clog up the machine, and depending on the needles that you're using for your sewing machine, make sure they are made to be for like stretchy material. I also use vegetable oil, which I forgot to mention, or at least a sewing machine oil, so you could coat your needle so every time it goes through the fabric, it's not going to get all gunked up with glitter and glue adhesive, because that light or the machine itself will heat up that material, and that's how you start to get glitter everywhere, because that glue comes off, it just explodes glitter. So try to use wax paper to make sure your needle is clean. Make sure you stop in between and lube your needle. I know it sounds kind of gross, but like, you gotta use it in this type of fabric. It's just not gonna sew right if you don't have that. Here is the somewhat finished design. You could leave it as this, like a cloak with a hood on it, and part of me wishes I did that, but I'm really happy that I went the extra mile and I just said, fuck it, we're gonna create triangle pieces to create like a halter top looking kind of thing. And then here is the next part for the bottom half. I just used this leftover fabric for creating like a trifold dress or like an empress dress. So I had to cut in like 3 slits. I already sewed the top part to create like the belt design. And I think this is the part actually where I decided, all right, we're making the skirt and the bell sleeves out of this, because why not? We're going to use up all of our material. So I'm cutting out the bell sleeves, this part, tossing those to the side, and they match up with like my arms, luckily for the sleeves. So I was just like, all right, this is kind of where things get a little weird. I just winged it. I didn't have a design solely in mind. It was just kind of, okay, we're just gonna do it and see what happens. I will say the skirt thing was fun to make because I kind of used a reference of my old longer maxi skirts where you have like a high-rise slit on both sides, so it's easier to like walk through a little bit. It's not just like a pencil dress. So I just was like, all right, we're just going to do this and see what happens. And sure enough, this is how it came about. So lots of patience, lots of sewing. I'm not a professional. This is just something that I was like, all right, let's just go do it. And gremlin mode activated, so why not? Also, this was such a pain trying to get the whole clips in on the dress. I was like, I'll probably never make this again. But it is a good reference for the future. If I do want to make my own little dress skirt thing, I know my measurements now. And all I have to do is just clip it, sew it, get the fabric, cheap material. Cool. I don't have to shop on Amazon anymore for dresses. I can just make my own now. Then here is everything all clipped together. I just pretty much sewed it. Same with the inverted bell sleeves. Just cut those out. And it was pretty much easy from like folding it over left to right. Pretty easy. So here's the finished results.